Here are 3 hard skills that you can have and develop that are gonna help you be successful in a trade. Now, what is a hard skill? Hard skills are abilities that help you tackle job-specific duties and responsibilities. These are teachable and measurable abilities that can be taught. Things such as like reading, writing, being able to do a certain computer program software, things of that sort, reading a tape measure, being able to do some math, being able to read blueprints, being able to swing a hammer, being able to lift heavy things, and be able to use a screw gun. These are hard skills that you can be taught and you can learn how to do that are going to help you be successful. So what are the top 3 hard skills that you can have that are going to help you be successful in a trade just starting out? Let's hop into it. Hard skill number 1, being able to read a tape measure. So in a lot of trades, being able to read tape measure is going to be hands down one of the best hard skills that you can have. In a trade like the lineman trade, you're not getting down to specific measurements down to 30 seconds of an inch. For the most part, you just have to know your inches, your half inches, and your quarter inches, and then maybe even eighth inches, but not even really that far for the most part. Now, you get into a trade like welding or machining, things like that, they're gonna be a lot more specific, minute measurements that you're going to have to know how to do and read. But I mean, when that time comes, you will be able to be taught and you should be able to learn those abilities. But for the most part, being able to read a basic tape measure like this, knowing your full inch, your quarter inch, your half inches, your eighth inches, and even your 16th of an inches, being able to know what all these lines represent on this tape measure, that's a great hard skill to have. And you would be surprised how many people go to a technical school like a welding school or some sort of technical college, and they go spend 2 years and they still don't know how to read a tape measure. This is a very basic skill that you can teach yourself. I actually have a video in one of these corners, maybe in the description down below, where I teach, how to just read a basic tape measure. Your full inches, half inches, quarter inches, eighth inches, 16th of an inches, knowing your fractions. Yeah, just know what these lines represent on a tape measure. That's a great hard skill to have, and that's your hard skill number 1. Hard skill number 2. Now for hard skill number 2, I'm gonna put math. Being able to do math is going to be a skill to have in any trade from my experience and from other people I've talked to. To get into a trade like a lineman trade or even ironworkers trade, a lot of these apprenticeships, you're gonna have to do an aptitude test, which requires basic algebra math. Now this is literally basic 6th grade algebra math. This is super easy math. A lot of these things, we're not engineers, man. We don't know how to do, all these fancy math equations and things like that. So basic math is an awesome hard skill to have. And now you're going to be using math in all the different trades, of course. In the lineman trade, you're using Pythagorean theorem. You're using the power formula to find, wattage, and you're using it to find amperage and current, and you're using these different formulas, but they're all basic fractions, and for the most part you're just having to find out what x is. So if you can find out what x is and use the order of operations to do certain equations, that's fairly how basic it goes for most trades across the platform. Hard skill number 2, being able to know and how to do basic math, is going to help you significantly in any trade you want to get into. Hard skill number 3. So I had to combine 2 different skills in this one just to keep the list short between 1, 2, and 3. Hard skill number 3 is going to be knots and being able to read blueprints. Being able to tie a knot without even looking, just know that you can tie a bowline and do it. That's a great hard skill to have, because you get in a trade like the lineman trade or ironworkers trade, any trade that requires rigging, using slings and shackles and ropes, being able to tie knots is going to be an awesome hard skill to have. You can tie a bowline, a running bowline, a bowline on a buy, a moonter hitch, a grapevine. Like, there's a variety of different knots, and on our YouTube channel, if you go to Blue Collar Basics playlist, I have all the different knots on there, and you can go watch and learn all these different knots. The ones I teach are specifically the ones that are good to know for the lineman trade, but of course, a lot of those knots aren't only applicable for just the lineman trade. They're applicable for any trade or any outdoor activity. It doesn't really matter. But knot tying is a great hard skill to have. Now, the other part of Hard skill number 3 is being able to read blueprints. Any trade you work in, anywhere you go, there's going to be blueprints on how something is built. In the lineman trade, we have spec sheets or spec books, and they show exactly how this pole is supposed to be framed and how it's supposed to be built. If you're building a house, they're going to have a whole blueprint from the ground all the way up. And depending on what trade you work in, whether that's concrete or electrical or roofing or framing, it doesn't matter. There's going to be a blueprint for that. And if you're able to look at the blueprint and understand what the numbers represent, look at the drawings and know, okay, this, and this is how this is put together, and the outcome is this. Being able to look at a blueprint is a great hard skill to have. Now, this is a teachable thing. Of course, if you're a young guy or you've never worked in a trade and you've never even seen or read a blueprint, I mean, it's kind of hard to know how to do it, but it is a teachable skill and it's an awesome hard skill to have. Those are your 4 hard skills that you can have or develop that are going to help you be successful in any trade across the platform. These aren't specific to any one trade. These are just a general list of hard skills that you can acquire and have that are going to help you across the board for most trades. And we have, for those 4 skills, number 1, being able to read a tape measure. Number 2, being able to do basic math. Number 3 and 4 is knot tying and being able to read blueprints. That is your list of hard skills that you can have that will help you be successful in a trade just starting out. So hopefully you can learn from this video with Blueprint, here to expose, teach, and educate you about blue-collar career opportunities and things that will help you in the skilled trades. That being said, hopefully you learned from this video, and I'll see you on the next one.
Okay.